My family tried to evict me from Grandpa's lake house. One quiet phone call ended it. The day my family tried to throw me out of Grandpa's lake house started with 3 black SUVs rolling up the gravel driveway. I was sitting on the porch with a cup of coffee, watching the morning mist drift across the water. The house had been my home for nearly 2 years since Grandpa passed away. It was the same place where he taught me to fish, where we repaired old boats together, and where he spent his final summers. The SUV doors opened, and out stepped my father, my older brother Ryan, my Aunt Linda, and a lawyer carrying a thick folder. I already knew this wasn't a friendly visit. Ryan walked ahead with a smug smile. "You need to pack your things," he announced. I looked at him calmly. "Good morning to you too." Dad crossed his arms. "This has gone on long enough. The family agreed this property should be sold." "The family?" I asked. "Or you?" My aunt sighed dramatically. "Don't make this difficult. We have buyers interested." I stood from my chair. "Grandpa left this house to me." The lawyer finally spoke. "There are questions regarding the interpretation of the will." I almost laughed. Funny how nobody had questions for 2 years. Only now, after property values around the lake had doubled, did they suddenly discover legal concerns. Ryan stepped closer. "You don't belong here anyway." I stared at him. "That's interesting." Grandpa disagreed. His face tightened. The truth was simple. Grandpa and I had been close. While everyone else visited him on holidays, I spent weekends helping him around the property. When his health declined, I drove him to appointments. When he needed assistance, I was there. The others always had excuses. Now they wanted the reward without the effort. Dad handed me a document. "We're giving you one chance to leave peacefully." I glanced at the papers. An eviction notice. Completely ridiculous. My name was on the deed. Yet they stood there acting like they'd already won. A crowd of curious neighbors began gathering near the road. The family loved public pressure. They assumed embarrassment would force me to surrender. Instead, I pulled out my phone. Ryan laughed. "Calling for help?" "No," I replied. "Just making one phone call." I stepped away and dialed a number from memory. The person answered immediately. "Good morning. Sorry to bother you," I said. "Looks like we have a situation at Grandpa's house. Do they have legal paperwork?" "Plenty. Give me 10 minutes." I thanked him and ended the call. Ryan smirked. That's it. The family exchanged amused looks. Dad checked his watch. "You're delaying the inevitable." For the next several minutes, they continued discussing sale plans as if I were already gone. They talked about profits, vacation homes, investment opportunities. Not once did anyone mention Grandpa. Not once. Then another vehicle appeared. A dark sedan. It stopped beside the SUVs. A man stepped out wearing a tailored suit. The moment my family's lawyer saw him, his face turned pale. Very pale. The lawyer hurried forward. "Sir, I wasn't aware you were involved." The newcomer smiled politely. "I've been involved from the beginning." Ryan looked confused. "Who is this?" The man turned toward everyone. "My name is Daniel Mercer. I was your father's estate attorney for 14 years. Silence. Complete silence. Daniel opened a briefcase and removed several documents. "Your father anticipated this exact situation." My aunt's confidence disappeared instantly. "What do you mean?" Daniel handed copies to each of them. 6 months before his death, he updated every estate document, property transfer, and ownership record. Dad's hands visibly shook as he read. Daniel continued. "The lake house belongs solely to his grandson. There are no legal ambiguities, no shared claims, and no mechanisms for forced sale." Ryan stared at the papers. "That can't be right." "It is." Daniel's voice remained calm. Then he delivered the final blow. "Additionally, your father left written instructions that any family member attempting to challenge ownership would immediately lose access to the trust distributions established for future inheritance." Nobody spoke. The color drained from every face. The amount in that trust was substantial. Grandpa had known them better than anyone. He had predicted exactly what would happen. Dad slowly lowered the papers. "This was all planned?" Daniel nodded. "Meticulously." The crowd of neighbors watched in stunned silence. A few moments later, my family's lawyer quietly gathered his files. The eviction notice disappeared back into the folder. Ryan couldn't even meet my eyes. One by one they returned to their vehicles. No arguments. No threats. No dramatic speeches. Just defeat. As the SUVs drove away, Daniel joined me on the porch. Grandpa's lake shimmered beneath the afternoon sun. He knew they'd try something, I said. Daniel smiled. Your grandfather always said one thing. What was that? He said the only person who truly loved that house was the person sitting in it. I looked across the water and felt a familiar peace. One quiet phone call had ended everything. But the truth was, Grandpa had won that battle long before any of us knew it was coming.